India's UK trade pact goes live. Zero duties wipe out Bangladesh and Vietnam's edge. We decode how big a boost this is for Indian exporters. Forget the months-long wait for massive ride shares. India's Skyroot is shaking up the space economy with a $5 million 3D printed rocket built for rapid point-to-point satellite deliveries. The monopoly is officially over. And an 18-year-old girl from Siwan in Bihar breaks global barriers to win a massive 3 crore scholarship to America.
I felt really grateful to be representing India on such a global stage and at a global university where I'll be receiving a world-class education. I felt really grateful to be representing India on such a global stage and at a global university where I'll be receiving a world-class education.
Khalistani extremism and terrorism originating from Canada. This is a business. This is a business because the money collected through intimidation, through extortion by these Khalistanis. Certainly there will be repercussions. Heads, and I was sort of characterized as Ravan, and then my effigy was burnt as Ravan.
Have you seen the viral video of Justin Trudeau, viewers, dancing like an extra behind Katy Perry? The man who is now prancing behind a global pop star was the Prime Minister of Canada, a G7 country, only till last year. And as it turns out, he ran his government just like he dances, out of sync with reality, prancing around randomly. And now he has absolute egg on his face. The global narrative that Justin Trudeau tried to paint has completely collapsed. We bring you the definitive full circle moment in a diplomatic saga that really shook New Delhi and Ottawa. The Canadian government had levelled preposterous, politically motivated, false allegations against India's High Commissioner to Canada, Sanjay Kumar Verma. And now those false allegations and accusations have been officially dropped by Royal Canadian Mounted Police. The international investigations have cleared him and Indian officials and Indian diplomats completely. Investigations separately are continuing, but the narrative has completely collapsed. And that is our top story this week on India Sense. Joining me to talk more about what this really means and, more importantly, India's stand being completely vindicated is Ambassador Sanjay Verma. Sir, thank you so much for speaking to me on NDTV. Let me start first by asking you, the fact that RCMP has come out with absolute clarity about where this case really stands, your stand, the stand of the Indian government, is now completely vindicated.
So I would not use the word vindication here because, we had been of that view and opinion right from the beginning. It was for the Canadian government to see how the due process could be followed. As far as we are concerned, we are not there to give a statement to be judged. Okay. We issued this statement right from day one in order to clarify our position. We were not waiting for a nod from any government or any person to say we were correct or we were incorrect.
Ambassador Verma, before I talk about some of the other aspects, let me speak about how these allegations affected you, your family, and so many other officials at the High Commission suddenly being declared persona non grata on a completely motivated, politically driven allegation.
So when I was traveling outside Ottawa, and suddenly I received a call from the Global Affairs Canada, from our key interlocutor there, that I'm required to come and see the senior most official in the Global Affairs Canada to discuss some issues. As soon as I came back, I went there and I was told that, look, you and your other colleagues, I may not be able to mention the numbers, your other colleagues have been declared as persons of interest. And so you must submit for questioning to the RCMP, which is the Federal Canadian Police. I said, all right, let me get back to my capital, and whatever the response, I'll convey to you. I came back to the office, spoke to my interlocutors in the Ministry of External Affairs, and soon the message was loud and clear, which I would have said the same, that we are not taking away your diplomatic immunity, and therefore there is no question of submitting yourself to questioning by the federal police in Canada. Once that happened, then immediately there was another statement issued in Canada, which declared me and my other colleagues as persona non grata. Now, once that was done, after all, the person who had arranged all these things was the then Prime Minister of the country, and therefore we looked suspicious.
Yeah. Which brings me to ask that, no one can turn back time, no one can go back to where things were. Canada also now has a different Prime Minister. But what would you want with the stand being vindicated, with RCMP coming out and clarifying where exactly the situation is?
I would suggest, I'm not a part of the government, so I'm a concerned institution at the moment. So I would suggest two steps. One, that there is a clear communication between the Government of Canada and the Government of India about things which went wrong. And if there are reasons and they can explain, it will be very nice. If not, just an apology to the Government of India will be okay. Then I and my colleagues will have to be told the same thing. Some of us are still in the service.
Yes.
Some of us have retired. So we will have to be reached out and said that, a simple three-letter sentence, I'm sorry. So that will be the first step. Second step will be the stigma which has been attached to our names in the eyes of the people.
Yeah.
So the Government of Canada will have to go out to their own population and issue whatever statement it wants to issue with an objective that they were wronged.
Absolutely. But let me then also ask you about the investigations. There is the Nijjar killing, with which Justin Trudeau came out with absolutely wrong allegations. You've been vindicated. Government of India's stand has been vindicated by RCMP's statements and clarification. But what about the larger probe where it stands right now?
So on the investigation, as all of us know, that it was a multi-country investigation.
Yeah.
And as I make out from the statement issued from Washington, that the Indian agencies were also a part of the entire deliberation. In Canada, the deputy commissioner of RCMP, when she was talking to a media house on the TV, she clearly mentioned that in this investigation, there is no charge laid against any Government of India official or diplomat, and I would say Government of India and Indian nation. So if I look only at that, then this investigation, which has been conducted largely in the leadership of the FBI in the United States, has come out with many details, but the detail on the killing in Canada, and there it has said that the Indian diplomats and officials had no role in it.
Switching gears, the last few days have shown the world and America that India will stand up to big tech and make rules that American tech companies will have to follow, even if the rest of the world thinks otherwise. And now, after this, the EU wants India's help to rewrite the global AI map. Why is that so? Because Washington briefly choked off Europe's access to Anthropic's elite Mythos cyber model. Clearly, Brussels realized it could no longer rely blindly on transatlantic tech corridors. And the European Union is now turning to New Delhi to bypass American dominance entirely. In fact, EU Vice President has confirmed that India and EU are preparing to join forces to co-develop sovereign frontier AI models. This is tech diplomacy at lightning speed. Our next report, viewers, unpacks how this mega alliance really reshapes global digital power, and why is it that EU now feels it needs India's help for potentially an India model. Take a look.
it was a tech tremor felt across Brussels. When US export controls briefly blocked European entities from Anthropic's highly classified cybersecurity model, Mythos, a stark reality set in. Europe was entirely dependent on Washington's digital whim. Enter New Delhi. Refusing to remain vulnerable, the European Union is now moving aggressively to build an alternative axis of digital power. Speaking after high-level trade talks, EU Vice President Henna Virkkunen confirmed a seismic shift. The EU and India are looking to join forces to build sovereign frontier AI models.
When it comes to AI, European Union and India, we are very much sharing the same vision that we want to have trustworthy and human-centric AI. Especially on AI, the fields where we are now focusing with India, it's about developing really our own capacity in AI and developing our own frontier models. So we are looking how we could also join our forces in when it comes to computing capacity, to give better possibilities for our businesses and researchers to have joint projects to train and develop AI.
The alliance addresses a glaring vulnerability exposed by US export controls that kept Europe out of critical software vetting tools. By pivoting to new bilateral axis, Brussels and New Delhi aim to code their own digital destiny, thus creating public sector AI that foreign governments cannot legally shut down. It is a massive infrastructure play that bridges high-performance supercomputing across continents. The joint pipeline will first train specialized AI architectures for healthcare before aligning their respective safety institutes to dictate global regulatory standards.
The fact is that emerging technologies literally hold the potential to shape our lifestyle and future. India and the European Union have developed this trust with each other and now strive to take that into the business and technology domains.
As Silicon Valley builds high regulatory walls, New Delhi and Brussels are building a democratic computing bridge. The message is clear. The future of frontier intelligence will not be dictated by a single country.
For decades, viewers, if you were an Indian exporter chasing the UK market, you were fighting with one hand tied behind your back. Bangladesh walked in duty-free. Vietnam had its own better deal with London. And India, well, it paid a tax just to compete. On garments, on shoes, on shrimp, on auto parts, on the very goods that our factories and farms make the best. That changed this week with the India-UK trade pact that went live on 15th of July. Zero duty on almost everything. 99% of what India sells to Britain now walks in tax-free on British soil. And here's the twist. The two rivals who had the edge on India are now both staring at headwinds. Bangladesh loses its automatic LDC trade privileges in November this year, just a couple of months. And Vietnam's advantage was never as complete as it was always assumed. Its zero duty lines are still phasing in on several product lines. India, meanwhile, as I said, zero duty on day one. No graduation clock ticking, no phase-in schedule. Let's decode that for you and tell you why this is such a big game changer. First and foremost, when the old tariff barriers were in place, for textiles, there was a 12% import tax. For footwear, it was 16%. For rivals, well, they entered the UK duty-free. India was effectively taxed out of competition in the crucial British market. Let's now tell you what is it that the setup breakthrough has actually been able to achieve. 99% exports are tax-free. Zero duty from day one. And that status is permanent. That's the most important thing. UK can keep having its prime ministers walk in and out of 10 Downing Street. This doesn't change. Negotiated trade deal actually covers a very large gamut of goods, textiles being a very major part, auto parts and electronics being the other. Let's now tell you about why is it that for Bangladesh, clock is now running. The LDC privilege now ends very soon. The graduation date for that actually is 24th of November this year. And post 2029, you will actually see high tariffs returning. The export risk that actually lies ahead could be anywhere between $1 to $8 billion on an annual basis. So this is the kind of upside that India is looking at. Let's now tell you about Vietnam. Remember, these are the two Asian rivals with which India is actually competing. There, the UK deal is still phasing in. The tariff years 6 and 7 is where the zero India status is going to be extremely significant. And you can see the headwinds being significant for Vietnam going forward. Unlike for India, as I said, there is a permanency that has come in. You put these two together, what you see right now, the larger story with regard to the labor-intensive, manufacturing-heavy sector that are going to get the biggest boost against Bangladesh and Vietnam, textiles being the most important. Shifting our focus, Bharat is bypassing the global line to get into space. For years, the small satellite market has been stuck in neutral, with operators waiting months for open slots on massive rideshare rockets. Skyroot Aerospace is now breaking those bottlenecks permanently. This report decodes how exactly is it doing, what is it that it's actually doing, and why is it so very important.
This is Mission Akman. You might mistake it for another rocket launch at first, but it's a fundamental shift in how humanity reaches orbit. This is an agile, rapid assembly platform built on a 100% carbon composite frame using 3D printed liquid engines. By cutting the price per flight down to $5 million, the barrier to entry collapses. Research labs, tech setups, and developing nations suddenly get independent orbital access to launch weather tracking, urban mapping, and agricultural payloads on their own watch.
It can carry is around 300 kilograms, and that is only the first version of Vikram 1. We call it Vikram 1, and then Vikram 2, we have an upgrade of it with an advanced cryogenic upper stage, which can take close to a ton to orbit. And both of them are 7-storied building ton. And then weigh like few tons of kilograms, tons, and they're going to take off and then put satellites into orbit from anywhere from 300 kilograms to 1,000 kilograms.
Traditional solid boosters are all or nothing. However, the OAM's liquid system can pause, throttle down, and even restart mid-vacuum. Accuracy is everything. Missing target velocities by just a few meters per second will throw a satellite off course or drop it back into the atmosphere to burn. The OAM calculates burns to the final decimal to hit exact pinpoint coordinates. This is a direct run at the giant rideshare models. While the industry leaders focus on heavy lift freight, Skyroot is carving out point-to-point micro-satellite economy with rapid custom timelines. Success here changes the commercial baseline for global satellite logistics.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा
जानते हैं मैं एलीट मैट्रिमोनी क्यों रेकमेंड करता हूं? 17 years of experience, largest database of elite profiles, or 100% confidentiality. Elite Matrimony, India's most successful matchmaking service for the elite.
India Inc.'s most respected names chose India Inc.'s best and brightest.
These kind of awards and jury lineup, you are truly giving it the right weightage.
I think it's heartening to see talent that there is across India Inc.
We should be awarding companies and individuals who have focused not only on growth but also on bringing good governance.
Be part of jury and vote on the people, the men, the women, the companies in India who have the right stuff is a great opportunity for us.
For us, the biggest thing is trust. That's what we provide.
We need leaders in India that can help take India being a global superpower.
We got a fantastic jury and we've left all decisions to the wisdom of the jury.
Who will earn India's top business honors. Find out at the NDTV Profit Business Leadership Awards. Our Pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
That if a boy from Ahmedabad with no capital and no connections could build, then there must be 1,000 more Gautam Adanis sitting undiscovered.
जिनके आइडियाज हैं दमदार, वो सब हैं वंदे भारतम के नेशनल स्टेज के हकदार। तो इनोवेटर्स रजिस्ट्रेशन करो wandebharatam.org पर 19 जुलाई तक। An initiative by Gautam Adani. यही है वंदे भारत।
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig until what's.
Welcome back, viewers. It's now time to get you the India Sense story this week. An incredible global triumph unfolding with an 18-year-old Indian teenager completely stunning the academic world on a massive global scale. Exclusive, highly inspirational conversation that we're going to have with someone who's broken deep-seated barriers. Shreya Kaushal, who's actually now got the monumental 3 crore rupee full scholarship after being chosen as the only Lincoln scholar from India and 10 from the world. She will soon be in the United States. She's joining us live. And Shreya, first of all, thank you so much for joining me on NDTV and a huge congratulations to you. How does it feel to actually be one amongst those 10 and the only one from India to get that Lincoln scholarship?
I felt really grateful to be representing India on such a global stage and at a global university where I'll be receiving a world-class education. And I feel that it is not my achievement, it is India's achievement. It is achievement of my mentors and everyone in the family in my hometown and Bihar and the state.
I know, Shreya, you come from a small town in Bihar, Siwan, and I'm sure the entire town would be extremely happy and elated with your achievement. You've spoken to your mentors since then. What is it that they've been saying and what's going on in your mind ever since you heard this?
At Dexterity Global Group, there are hundreds and thousands of students from the remotest villages of India to finest cities which are being groomed right now. My fellow Dexters have secured around rupees 300 crores of scholarship from world's most prestigious universities, and there are several of the Dexters who come back just at their night of graduation back to India to be back to ground and serve Mother India. And my my message for all the people out who are watching me is the same, that we must utilize education and our limited expertise to serve Mother India, and through whatever problems that we could solve and lift people up.
We wish you the very best, Shreya. Thanks so much for joining us. And that's, of course, young Indian talent at its very best on the global scale. And as we wrap up this edition of India Sense, viewers, we leave you with these visuals of Prime Minister Modi flagging off India's first ever hydrogen-powered train, the Namo Green Rail that has been flagged off from Jind, Haryana. Will it solve India's key issues with regard to energy? That's the hope, that's the aspiration, and that's the end of this edition of India Sense.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा,
The news, Ayush. Since when do we do scripts? Fair point. Picture this. The biggest stage. floodlights. Wow. 4K, the works. Where's the hook? There's going to be celebrities and guaranteed eyeballs. Where's the hook? Think about this. Front page advertisements and hoardings. Bro, where's the hook? Cross-platform, digital first, virality. Without a hook, no way. The message is clear. It's 20.
He has tracked the pulse of power from Washington to Korea. Witnessed history being made in global capitals and conflict zones.
This location from Tel Aviv
Brought clarity to complex issues of national security and international affairs.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to him at length yesterday.
The Ayatollah Khamenei is gone. There has been a missile attack right behind you, and we need to rush into a shelter. Heading there. Will Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli resign?
And now, Aditya Raj Kaul, covering international affairs like no one else. Only on NDTV network.
मीठा या नमकीन, चाहे